All right, well, I thought we'd do a little bit of a recap from last week. We were talking about this employee that you have that you started working with when you were the sales supervisor, and he was just I guess, a sales representative. And then you moved up, and because of all the hard work he put in and that he seemed to be an exemplary employee, you offered him a chance to move up. And then after that, it seemed like he really didn't appreciate, one, the promotion, didn't feel like he needed to do any work to deserve it, and has been extremely insubordinate and almost, rude to you in his interactions and stuff. So, is there anything else that you thought about since we last talked that you'd like to discuss?
No, I just sent an email to my regional to find out, just gave her an overview of what was going on, and just to find out how, from a human resource standpoint, I need to handle it. Because at the end of the day, just yesterday he was late. He called me, hey, I'm running late, I'm on my way. I should be there about 11 or maybe a quarter after. Okay, supposed to be to work at 11. That's fine. I told him I wasn't busy. Just trying to keep an open line of communication, and just letting him know, okay, at least he's communicating. Because all before, he wouldn't even call you. He would just be late. And so he calls back about an hour. Oh, I got here to make my payment real quick before I came in, and now they're talking about some other stuff, and I should be there at about 12:45. Okay, I'm still not busy. Whatever. So I'm on to doing whatever I was doing. So time lapsed, and I didn't realize it was almost 2 o'clock, and he still hadn't got there.
Oh wow! Didn't even call. Just
after the first two initial
2 hours.
calls. Yeah.
Wow.
He got, and it was just like, at the point I was at was really, what is there to say? I've sat down and had a conversation with you. We've talked about it. I told you my expectations. At this point, I'm going to move on to a human resource perspective. That I just need to write you up because somewhere you think that's okay. And it's not. We still have a business to run. And whether it's slow or not, and I understand stuff happens. We run late sometimes. I had to leave work the other day early because I got sick. I went straight to the emergency room. But just, I still took me a minute to even get out of the store because I didn't want to leave somebody else in a disarray. Still trying to make sure you don't leave. I just think it's being considerate of your coworkers.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want to leave somebody in a messed up situation. And so I just, even though he communicated, you still dropped the ball every time you told me you'd be there at a time. You still didn't come through with none of that time. And then you still end up not. I'm just to the point where I try to just be cordial with him. Don't, want to cause an uproar. One of my part-timers was like, yeah, he tweeted on his Twitter page. I don't get on into this kind of Facebook or none of that. He tweeted on his Twitter page about people at work talking behind his back or something. And I'm like I just said, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I stay out of the he say, she say, and the gossiping. Just because I feel like I'm a manager, I don't want to get caught up in that arena and stuff. But like I tell people, I still have feelings too. My feelings get hurt,
Absolutely.
And I don't want people to feel like, you just say anything to me and that it doesn't matter or do anything, that I still have feelings. At the end of the day, I'm a person just like the rest of y'all. So I don't even know, just nothing else to say to him at this point. I'm just waiting on, HR had to pair with them to give a corrective action, and I just have to manage it next week. That's the best. I'm really looking forward to being gone out of my store for the next week because I have to go to Savannah this week. And I'll be gone until Monday. I'm looking forward to getting away.
You're looking forward for that break?
Yeah, I just feel like, I need a break from the monotony of my own store, my own people sometimes. It's just overwhelming with that and school and just the other stuff I got going. I don't have the patience for it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I just try to treat people the way I want to be treated, even when they treat me wrong. And it is tough. And I'll tell anybody, it's still a tough thing. Especially when you're in a management standpoint, because you don't want to allow your feelings to control what you're saying or your decision making.
Yeah, but you're still human. Your emotions are gonna they're gonna play into that.
Right.
Even when you were saying that, I've done everything I can, and I'm just gonna have to turn over to human resources now. You're obviously exasperated that you weren't able to talk to him on that personal level when you used to have that relationship.
You're right. I just feel like I can't reach you. I can't reach you at a level of two people communicating with each other. We come up with something and each person has a mutual understanding and we stick to that. I have to involve human resource because somewhere either you're taking my kindness for a weakness or you just don't care. And I'm not going to try to sift through and figure that out. I still need to cover myself because I don't want the rest of the employees to feel like, well, you didn't say nothing to him. he's always late.
Yeah.
I have to look at it from that standpoint.
I was actually going to ask you, is the way that you went about dealing with the situation with him, trying so many times to talk to him and address it without having to go through the paperwork and the corrective action,
Right.
is that something that you would offer to, any of your employees, anyone that's
Pretty much, because I try to not involve HR as much as possible, because at that point, people get defensive. They feel like their jobs are being compromised. I don't like a hostile working environment, so I try to resolve things at my level, or with just me and my regional, or if she can come in and sit down and have a conversation, I offer that to him. I think he opened up the HR perspective when he sent me the text and said, I called the director of HR when me and you had just had a conversation, and your next move was supposed to have been talking to our regional. You sending her email and getting her feedback. You opted to go above her. So I feel like you went above the chain of command at that point.
Yeah, because he kind of jumped the chain.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, who feels slighted here? I should feel slighted first. You jumped the chain of command to begin with. I hadn't even thought much about HR. We didn't even talk about HR. You took it upon yourself to call the director of HR. You jumped all your chain of commands. There are 3 people before you get to him.
You say you feel slighted by that. Can you tell me a little more about that?
I just feel like it was a slap in the face.
Okay.
I just feel like I thought we had a rapport to where me and you talked about it. Here's what we came up with as the course of action. You went the total opposite of what we came up with. So it's like giving a game plan for somebody, and then they go on the field and they do what they want to do. What happened to the call we just called?
Mm-hmm.
I call another play, you go play something else. It's just like him having the girl come in after I told him clearly they couldn't switch shifts. He seems to have no respect for my authority or the authority altogether. I'm not going to keep talking to you. You
Mm-hmm.
have to understand that there's levels of authority. You have to respect them. I didn't say like them. I didn't say love them. I just said respect them. I still respect him regardless that I like him or not right now, or like what he's doing or not doing. I still respect him as an individual. I'm not going to talk to him any kind of way. I'm not going to just change the schedule and just schedule him any old kind of way to be spot. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that I think come with maturity, and that's what I think he lacks right now.
Okay.
That age is really playing into effect that he's in his early 20s.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you kind of a multiple choice question. Do you think that the biggest upset with this is the professional side, where he's simply being insubordinate, he's not respecting authority, and he's basically being a bad employee?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it more of the personal level where, okay, well, we had this awesome working relationship. I thought this opportunity would be great for you. I thought you were really going to step up to the plate. And instead, you've not only made me think differently of you now, it's also more of, well, I feel like you don't even care about me anymore. When at one point you seem to. Or do you think it's kind of the interplay between both of these?
I think it's a combination. I
Okay.
think because we had built that rapport, that maybe I felt the relationship that we had an understanding that we could have resolved amongst ourselves. And then I think there is that professional side that just feels like, that's just not something you do. There's a chain of command. Every job, whether you're in the military, whether you're in corporate America, or just even in a family setting, there's a chain of command no matter what part of life you look at. And I just feel like he doesn't seem to understand that aspect of it. So do I probably play more to, I think it's a maturity piece with him?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly do. I still feel, I just still have, and then when I hear the little comments and stuff, going around, it's just, I just don't like a hostile or agitated work environment. I ain't saying it's going to be peaches and cream, but I just don't think it's necessary to care. I've sat down and talked to you, so if you feel these feelings, why not express them at that time? I've given you that opportunity to. I'm very open, so I can take constructive criticism. I've even accepted the part I played, and apologize on the things that I could have done different. It's just like he has no ownership for his part. He feels justified.
Okay, you think justified.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he feels justified.
Okay, I did want to ask, I think I asked you at the end of last session if you could put some thought into when the dynamic changed between the two of you, and if even you might have some behavior that might have affected it. Do you think maybe that when you went from the sales supervisor to the GM that were you exactly the same as you were before, or did maybe things change a little bit because you were in a higher place of authority?
I don't think it changed much, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm looking at it from my perspective. Some things had to change. At this point, I have to hold you accountable. At this point, we're probably having more conversations that are more on the management side than we were originally before. Were more of, we were kind of sounding on the same level. Okay. So maybe those don't sound the same. Maybe if I had to look at it from stepping back and maybe looking at her standpoint, maybe for him that it is a difference. But he has to know that I have a job I have to do at the end of the day too. This is what they pay me to do. I can separate. There it goes back to what I said, maturity piece. I can separate business from pleasure. At the end of the day, we got a job to do. I love you to life and living. I still got a job to do. You still got a job that they're paying you to do.
Okay, since it sounds like you do have a lot of dialogue that it seems you want to have with him, and a lot of things that you want him to hear, why don't we try a little role playing? Why don't we, we're going to set this chair up right here, and this is going to be, what's his name again?
Andrew.
Okay, this is going to be Andrew, and I want you to tell him all these things that you told me, even though I know you feel like you've exhausted it. I know you feel like you've done this over and over again. But I want you to think of it from the perspective of also taking on your part in it and saying, maybe this is how I affected the situation. Okay, but let's just, you just have it out with him and we'll see how it goes.
I don't know where really to start. I guess I would just say, Andrew, if you feel slighted, by anything that I've done since I've become the GM of the store versus just being more of your peer, then that's something I don't think I can apologize for, because I moved up into a different position that required me to require other things from you. So our conversations may have changed. If you feel like it's something I could have done differently, please express it. As far as, the training or communication piece in terms of getting you up to par for the role. I just felt like he could have handled the situation differently. We sat down, we had a conversation, we came up with one game plan, and then you go and you did something else. I kind of felt offended that you even text me to tell me that you had called HR. I don't know, I feel like that your age and, just a little immaturity there, you're kind of flamboyant with it. And it's just like, it's almost like you're saying, so what to what you say, TJ. You're late constantly, even though we've talked about it, you're still late. Ask you not to text on the floor, you still do it. I feel like you have a lack of respect for my authority, a lack of respect for, the position that I hold and that I have a job I have to do as well. So if you have anything, any concerns or issues, I'm free to hear them. Any things that you want to critique me on, I'm more than willing to hear those as well.
Okay. Is that everything that you'd like to say?
Pretty much everything I want to say.
Okay. Well, now that we kind of need to wrap up the session for the day, I want you to take this role play and put some thought into it. Think about maybe how you felt while you were talking to him. If you think this conversation is something that could be possible or would help, or maybe if it's something that, again, you just feel like you've exhausted this and done everything you can, but just kind of put some thought into this role play dynamic and this conversation you just had, and we'll discuss that more next week.
Okay.